In today's video, we're going to be creating this card's UI design in Figma. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with a frame. So I'm just going to click on F and I'm going to insert a desktop frame, just one of the default options that is in Figma. Now we're going to insert a shape. I'm going to use a rectangle, so I'm just going to click on R and then click, and then I have my rectangle. Let's change the dimension. The width of this rectangle would be 260 and the height is going to be 500. And I'm going to just come here and maybe align it to the center. Next up, let's change the fill of this rectangle. I'm going to come over to fill and I'm going to change the fill to E8, EA, E7. And yeah, next up is a text. So I'm just going to click on T and I'm going to grab my text. So the first achievement is going to be for 2020. I'm going to click and then paste. Now I'm going to go over to typography and I'm going to change this to, I'm going to change the font to railway. Weight is going to stay at regular. Size is going to be 55 and the line height is going to be 62. And then the letter spacing is going to be minus 0.25, like this. I'm going to create a copy of this text so I can use it for our next one. I'm going to leave the fonts as railway. We're just going to change the weight to medium and we are going to reduce the size to 18 and we are going to change the line height to 26. The letter spacing is going to be 0.5. Okay, let's grab our text. I'm going to, so this is the heading of our achievements before we add the remaining text. I'm going to paste it here. I want the width of this text is currently set to auto width, so it's not going to change. All you need to do is change it to auto height and now we can change the width. I want the width to be 223 so we can have it uniform because we're going to use this to create a frame. Let's grab an icon next. So right click, plugins. I'm going to use Iconify. I'm going to search for trophy and I want to use this icon, the one by Icon Pack Outline. So that's the one I'm going to use. I'm just going to grab it and then bring it into my frame. And then I'm going to go over and change the size to 137. So 137 by 137. Now you'll see that the outline is quite thin. So I want it to be thicker. Let me change the color first. So I'll just go to selection colors. I'm going to make it black for now. Black is not the final color we want to use. So I'm going to select the icon, enter again so I can select all of the lines and now I can change the width of this icon to 4 like this. So you're going to have this. Select this text and then create another copy. We're going to change the font of this new one to Open Sans. So size is going to be, let's change the weight to back to regular and the size is going to be 14. Line height is going to be 20 and then we're going to leave the letter spacing at 0.5%. Let's now grab the remaining text for this first card and I'm going to paste. Let's change the letter spacing to 5%. Okay, so that's it. Now let's select all of these items. I want to change the color of all of these items at once. I'm going to select all of them and under selection colors, they are currently all black. I'm going to change this to 1D, 1D, 1D like that. And I'm going to come over here. We're going to go over to alignment align horizontal centers, or you could just click Alt H so I have all of them aligned, and then go to spacing, make the spacing between all of the items 30. Now, without grouping, just make sure your line is to the middle as well as the center of this rectangle. I'm going to zoom out and then create another copy. So create another copy without any spaces, create a third copy, and then we're going to create a fourth one. I'm doing this so that we can create all of our cards and then create individual frames without having to figure out what the new frame is, because some of them may have different lengths for our text. Let's start by changing all of the text and then the icon, then we'll change the colors. So I'm going to start with the second card. I'm going to copy this and then paste. I just want to make sure the alignment of my text is center so it doesn't change the alignment. I'm going to paste. I'm not going to change anything here. I'll just grab the final text, copy, and then I'm going to paste. I'm going to zoom in to get closer. I'm going to right click on this icon, go over to plugins, and then go to Iconify. We're going to search for quotes, and we are going to use this icon. I'm going to use this option, replace icon, and I'm going to close. While you're selected on the icon, click on enter so that you can select the group. And now we're going to change the weight of the line to 4. And I'm going to start by selecting this rectangle. Let's change the color of the rectangle. This is going to be 282640. And now I can barely see the contents, but that's not an issue. I'm just going to select everything and then deselect the rectangle. And then I'm going to change the color. So under in selection colors, I'm going to change this to F2, F2, F2. And we have our second card. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to grab, this is 2022. I'm going to paste. I'm going to grab the text, copy, and then I'm going to paste. And I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to hold Alt down. Since this one is already 223, it's not going to mess up our spacing. Hold Alt down so you can change the width from both sides. I want it to look more like this. I'm going to grab the remaining text, copy, and then paste. And I'm going to select this icon, right click, go over to plugins, run Iconify. This is going to be, I want to search for a light bulb. So I'm just going to search for bulb, and I want to use, let me see. I'm trying to find the exact one. Okay, this is the one I want to use, the one from farm icons. I'm going to select this and then I'm going to replace. Let's close this. Once again, enter so that you can select, and now you under stroke, you can change the width of this line down to 4. And now let's work on this final one. I'm going to start with the text, copy, and then paste. Grab the title, paste, and then I'm going to grab this text, copy it, and then paste. Let's change the color, select the rectangle. Under fill, I'm just going to type in the code for this one, which is 282640. And I'm going to select all of the elements and deselect the rectangle and go over to selection colors, and this is F2, F2, F2. All right, now that we have all our elements, I'm going to select everything in this first card and Shift A to make it an auto layout. and I'm going to select this one, same thing, make it an auto layout or a frame, and you see it changed slightly. That's not a problem. I'm going to select this, make it an auto layout, and then make it an auto layout. Oh, I didn't change the icon for this. I completely forgot. All right, let's quickly do that. Select this icon, right click, go over to plugins, run iconify, and this is going to be Earth. And I want to use this one, the one from icon pack outline. So I'm going to replace, and I'm just going to select it using enter, and I'm going to change the weight to 4. And now we have that. Now that we have all our frames, I can just change the alignment so it's aligned to the middle of our frame, just like that. And yeah, with that, we are done with this card's design. We could just quickly see what it looks like if it was in the prototype view. So this design, the dimensions are for, say, if you're working on a desktop layout, so you can modify it. Maybe as a practice, try to modify it for tablets. With tablets, you just need to squish things a bit, reduce the size of the text and the icons. With mobile, just stack this bottom two underneath this first two and just change the color size to have more like a checkered pattern. But anyway, that is it for this card's design. If you want to watch other videos related to this, or you want to watch much longer videos or more detailed projects, you can check out the description box below to see the links to other courses or other longer form videos in Figma. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.